Was that Blaine? I thought he.
You can't actually it's free software through Sony.
They just allow that now?
They allowed it a year and a half ago or like as soon as the pandemic hit, they're like, let's push out some software so people will buy our cameras. Oh, you could use these cameras. What's crazy is it's only 720p that it's pushing through, but because it's a much nicer sensor, and I'm using an f2.8 lens, it gives the illusion that it's a nicer image than the 1080p webcam. So, yeah, yeah. I'm struggling to understand why it's able to do that, but I think mostly it has to do with the sensor size.
Mm-hmm.
Just my the built-in
Who are you
webcam
talking
on the LG monitor.
It, Brian, he's plugged into the Discord stream yet, so he's talking to people there.
Oh, okay.
You're also on reverb.
Oh,
Your mic's on reverb. Yeah.
all right. I'm just gonna hang out over in the Riverside chat. I'll see you guys over there. If I didn't leave, they would have been like, they still be
Yeah.
over there.
Hey, also, I'm pretty sure that the link
that
that you
better?
send out every week is identical to in Riverside.
You know what? I believe that.
Because I noticed that when I joined on my laptop last week, because it was like, oh, hey, it pre-filled the URL, and I hit enter on it, and it was like, oh, it just
Right.
took me right in.
I didn't realize that it was up.
Oh no, you're fine.
Your camera even looks better here too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hey, Missy.
But it's really impractical because I have it like propped up. If I had a tripod handy, a desk tripod like a Gorilla Pod or something, I could have it sit here. But I have it sitting directly in front of my screen, so I'm having to like look around it. So it's like it's not a great solution 90% of the time, but 99% of the time. But for CouncilCast, when quality matters.
When you want the best.
Quality does matter.
uh,
Brian must be loading his camera. Oh no.
Hey,
No, I bumped a cable.
All I have to say is, you guys, we're really slacking on growing our podcast, because I just launched a podcast 2 weeks ago for one of my clients, and they already have 1,500 subscribers on YouTube and over 2,000 watch hours. So
For real?
What's
yeah,
the
but
topic?
it's Ron Spomer. He already had an audience of 150,000 on another channel, so
oh.
we just tell them about it, and a couple people pop over. So
Maybe you just need to shamelessly get him over here and get him to plug it.
There you go.
he would be so confused.
And that would just be par for the
Beyond
course.
it.
We're all confused, buddy.
He is. When he admittedly said, like, I will sit down and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I see that, like, your Chrome browser is telling you that you can't share your screen because you have to go into settings and allow that. Okay,
It's like this won't work because your Chrome is too out of date.
I said, you know what, let's hop over on Zoom. I'll send you a link so that I can control your screen, and I'll just click the buttons for you. I take over, start setting up screen sharing permissions inside of settings, and he is like, you are a wizard. This is he's like, how do you know all these things? Did you go to school for this? He asks me all the time. And I'm like, Ron, I feel the exact same way whenever you start talking about gun stuff. He's like, oh man, the foot-pounds of pressure and the foot-pounds of energy that happen after so many yards. And, well, this one's able to do this because of the shoulder on this cartridge. But, when they double that and they able to get a couple extra grains of powder in there, then you're able to. I'm like, I've been listening to you talk about this for 2 years, and I'm excited that I know that there is, in fact, a difference between a bullet and a cartridge now. So, like, I can take that home with me.
I at least learned something.
Oh boy. Well, we are recording, so if you want to push it live,
Are you? And
because
you're not
still in
crashing.
here.
I am not crashing, so that is...
Not yet. But we'll sit here
That
for
is
40
something.
minutes, and then it'll happen once we start. So
It might. It might.
I'm glad that the council's here to watch me eat dinner.
for dinner?
You may. Oh, hey, that's cool. I guess the going live worked today, so
Wait, are we live?
apparently we are now.
Nice.
Welcome to the CouncilCast. This is episode 199, being recorded on March 1st, 2022. The council is now in session, and as with every week, we will make arbitrary decisions about topics on science, technology, and random shit.
Random shit.
Whoa.
With little background and next to no expertise. All CouncilCast decisions are final and have no bearing on anything whatsoever. Well, welcome to this week of the CouncilCast.
Have I made a comment yet about our intro music vaguely reminding me of The Devil Went Down to Georgia?
It vaguely reminds me of the Cantina song from Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like if the devil were going down to the Mos Eisley Cantina.
He just wanted to head into town to pick up some power converters with his friends.
Well, you know, somebody that isn't going to be going down to the Mos Eisley Cantina is the dinosaurs, because they died.
What?
What?
Why are we still talking about the dinosaurs as if they're relevant? Fake history.
I'm so sad about this topic.
The
mean,
Earth is
I just
only
found out
about
about this.
9,000 years old, so yeah, this is just fake. Next.
That must be it. So, you know, apparently the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, the scientists have finally figured out why did some animals, such as mammals, survive? Why did not everybody die off?
You know, I was thinking about this just the other
because
day.
of the short arms.
Mammals just inherently have short arms? Is that what you're
no,
saying?
the dinosaurs
T-Rex.
have short arms.
Oh, that's why they
T-Rexes
died.
Couldn't dig
Ah.
hidey holes.
Yeah,
They just
That must-
couldn't feed
that
could
must be
climb
it.
trees that died.
So what's
That
the
must
reason?
be it. Well, apparently they found out that when they were doing a whole bunch of digging, and specifically in North Dakota, they found out that the timing of the asteroid hitting the planet might have been part of the reason as to why certain animals survived. What they found was that the asteroid probably hit the Earth sometime during the spring in the northern hemisphere. And so at that point in time, they basically said that the animals that were further away from the location of the hit site probably survived because they weren't as impacted. Because what happened in North Dakota apparently was that it basically was a humongous flood of water, and all of the fish and animals got buried under a bunch of mud. And that's how they died, and that's what they found in the fossilized badlands in North Dakota, I'm guessing.
But we have actual video footage of this. Let's see if I can.
I love when
See if
there's
you can
actual
pull it up.
video footage of these historic events.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously.
How the hell else am I supposed to know what it looked like?
Here we go. So this is real video footage from the event.
Oh wow.
It was even from taken from outer space, even.
It was
That's
pretty crazy.
impressive.
We had satellites up there then.
No, we didn't. The
Look
alien
at the
race that
magma.
shot the asteroid. They took this image.
Yeah.
We
So
just recently
Bloomer's
retrieved it.
destruction. That's pretty much it.
what I'm hearing is
And,
that we missed
Trump.
out narrowly on just like the dinosaur, like, you know, cities and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
think if it had hit South Dakota rather than North Dakota. Am I
It didn't
right?
hit North Dakota though.
It hit Mexico.
Oh,
Did you not
did it?
just watch?
Didn't
the
you
video?
watch the video?
This
that
is the one that's
Mexico?
Chicxulub, right?
Go back. Go
Here,
back.
look.
Oh, look at that dinosaur.
Look at that. He's dead.
You should go
That's
back
him.
to because.
Oh, is this the Yucatan?
So,
Yes.
yeah.
Uh,
So basically, any animal or
Is
species
that why we
of
have
animal.
cenotes?
That's what they're saying. Yes.
Oh, I like cenotes.
So
I'm
basically, they're saying
Mexican in
because
honor of this.
there you go. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, basically they're saying that because it was in the spring in the northern hemisphere, most of the animals were probably out and about. Is post hibernation, where in the southern hemisphere, animals such as mammals were probably going into their hibernation period, and were probably protected. So there you go.
So these
Hibernation.
mammals came out later, and they were
They
just
said it
like,
was spring.
They're just like,
What?
what the fuck?
they were like, what the fuck happened?
If it was spring, though, that doesn't make sense because humans go into hibernation around Thanksgiving. Right before
In the
Black
southern
Friday.
hemisphere, though, you got to remember in
Oh.
the southern hemisphere.
You're right. That
Eric comes out of the
Thanksgiving is
kitchen and
spring.
goes, huh, I'm higher up on the food chain now. That's a pretty good thing.
I've never heard the Thanksgiving extinction theory.
That's the stuff you come to CouncilCast for.
This is
Really, why
definitely
I come
something you
back.
could share this at Thanksgiving. When people say, what are you thankful for? And you're like, ugh, why do I have to do this? Well, let me tell you.
Thankful that the asteroid hit the northern hemisphere in the spring.
There you go.
There you go.
That's going to be my one for next year.
Yep. And they'll never ask you again.
Thumbs up for having a good Thanksgiving story.
Yes.
Oh yeah, thumbs up for thumbs up for Thanksgiving stories.
Well, if you did die on Thanksgiving, you might have been part of a study that doctors were able to see your brain activity, which apparently is what happened when they accidentally watched somebody die with a brain scanning machine attached to him.
What?
So why this wouldn't have been tried
Accidentally.
before is beyond me.
Oh, it's been tried.
So apparently there was a guy who went into the hospital. He was 87 years old. He had a serious fall that left him with bleeding in the brain, and they were doing an EEG. And while the EEG was basically happening, he had a seizure and died. And so the end result is that they were able to actually get brain activity measured during death. Apparently it's not common for doctors to put an EEG on people and then just shoot them. So,
Well, I figured there might have been like some studies done, like people that like
Or
donate
hospice.
their like body and like death to like the study of it.
Or like people on hospice, like who are in a facility where they are preparing to pass away. Like,
Yeah, like at least
I-
at least I would be able to provide like some usefulness, right? And, like,
I
all
don't
that.
think that they do that.
yeah.
Well, no,
So
they,
I think
they don't typically. It's not obviously this article says it's not a thing that happens, but I'm
But
surprised.
like, couldn't
that-
I request
I'm
that that's
surprised
the
that
thing that's
some-
happening? There have to be studies somewhere working on this.
Yeah, I'm
shit.
surprised some doctor or some scientist wasn't like, "Hey, I'm headed to hospice. How about you guys just hook me up with one of those?"
Yeah, like
One of those-
I'm out of
fuck
hospice.
dying surrounded by family. That's bullshit. Hook me up to some shit and just see what happens.
I think the problem is most people don't know exactly when they're going to die. So I
Well,
guess
just run the machine for a week or two. Then who cares?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we just
Can't be
like
that expensive.
maybe somebody just had an accident, and that's okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's great. Thanks, Matt.
But yeah, apparently a pretty unique situation. And they don't really tell us what they were able to see. I can only imagine that they saw his dreams. I'm guessing. I don't know. I have no idea what you see on EEG.
I've seen this thing. You know what? Hold on. I have some video footage.
Video
of it
footage.
actually here.
It might have. I'm imagining it looked like what Neo sees as he gets dropped into the Matrix.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I like that sequence.
That's it. That's what happens.
Like, and then like the digitization of the scream.
I want to see what this live video looks like.
Here,
Is this a
hold
live
on.
video of brain activity?
It's the first experiment that was tested on this. Tested in this regard. Here we go. Find this here for y'all.
I love the fact that we've got so much video evidence for this.
There's a lot of
episodes.
video evidence here.
Yeah, I like it because video evidence cannot be faked.
It can't be fake.
Can never. If it's on the internet, it's true.
This is it.
Who's
I'm
that?
gonna have
Martin McFly?
There he is. First test with that And he was trying to he was going to kill the dog. Spoiler alert, he doesn't kill the dog.
So I did read the rest of the article, and it does say that apparently they did have some results, and that they showed that basically right before and after the man's heart stopped beating, there was an increase in gamma brain waves, which is associated with learning and memory. So they basically say, you know what, you might actually be replaying your life when you die.
Or just remembering a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's something to look forward to when you die.
How
You know?
pissed would you be if you're fucking dying and like you're the poor bastard whose brain, and this is gonna be me, I can fucking feel it. Your brain doesn't remember like the time you went 20-0 in Halo, or the time you won like 30 Rocket League games in a row with your bros, or like a nice time with your family. Your brain just randomly fires a neuron, and you get to experience falling down the stairs and breaking your toe one more goddamn time.
Well, but I think that probably.
How pissed would you be?
Yeah.
That's why some people's last words are things like, "Ah, damn it."
But in the state that you're in, you'll probably get something more of kind of a compilation of things in your life messed up with other stuff. You know, like a dream that doesn't really.
It's a highlight. It's just a highlight reel set to Good Riddance.
It's Charles Barkley and fucking Shaq just razzing your the Sports Center not top 10 or whatever the hell. What do they call it? You remember, Dave, what theirs is called?
Yeah, it's the not top 10.
No, the Shacked and a Fool. It's just the Shacked and a Fool 10 of your life, and it's like that time that you didn't pick up on the girl hitting on you, and Shaq and fucking Charles are just laughing at you. Oh
Exactly.
man,
I probably replay that.
I would be down for that.
I probably replay the time that I went to ask this girl out to the junior high dance, and my fly was wide open because I just came out of the bathroom. And I'm standing there, and I'm like, so I'm trying to find the words, stumbling through things, and then everyone starts pointing and laughing. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing how poorly I'm asking this girl out. Just get to the point, Silas. Turns out, nope, just wide open. Just right.
Did she say yes?
Oh yeah, actually. So
Was this in Essex?
no, this was Stanberry.
Well, something you don't have to worry about asking about anymore is if your DisplayPort 2.0 is going to be to the latest spec or not.
It won't be.
Well, it might be, but they're not going to make it any more convoluted than what USB-C does. So,
Oh, perfect.
apparently, VESA, who is the certifying body for the DisplayPort spec, has announced that they are going to certify all the cables and put a specific label on them that says how fast it'll go.
Interesting. Why? Was there too much disparity in like cables and lying and stuff?
Well, if you remember, probably a few episodes back, HDMI came out with their HDMI 2.1 and then said, actually, just kidding, it now means something else.
Yeah.
And we're not going to
2.1K.
relabel anything. Yeah. And so they're trying to get ahead of the game and say, we're not going to do that. We're better than HDMI.
Just cables in
Wait,
general.
are these DisplayPort cables just for like ultra discs?
Yeah. Nope, they're just for your Macs.
Ultra
There's like
discs,
truth in advertising or truth in labeling or something like that. That's a good thing.
like 2 thumbs up for attempting to clarify and not confusing consumers, because cables are just
I mean, I'm still pretty confused, to be honest.
Laser discs.
About
That's what
cables
it's
in
for.
general or about DisplayPort?
Laser.
I don't know. Just what's happening in general.
Well,
Episode
just
or
just
say
know.
you want to go out and buy a DisplayPort cable, but you only have a 60 hertz 1080 display screen. You don't need a super high bandwidth 80 gigabyte transfer speed, so you can buy.
Why would somebody only own a 60 hertz screen?
Sounds like a story problem to me.
This is a word problem. I was never good at those.
Suppose you have a.
But or you've got a 4K 120 hertz that cheap Chinese Amazon Basics cable ain't gonna push all the hertz.
I mean,
So
but
you
how
need
will
faster one.
your rank and file normal person
They
like
will
how will
walk into
this
Best
how will
Buy,
this help them?
and Best Buy will sell them the gold-plated monster
Monster,
cable that has AV protection.
Where the gold
built in.
doesn't even make contact with the actual pins.
You know, that's a really good point about normal people, and I've always
Like,
thought
help
this was
me,
confusing.
like quickly find the information rather than having to go to Wikipedia and be more confident as like a prosumer.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a great example. So HDMI cables have a maximum length that they can actually work at.
Oh,
Right?
I know.
We all know that, right? Now, most consumers probably
most
don't.
cables do, right? So that's why I had to buy optic cables for my DisplayPort.
My 50-foot HDMI cable says that's not true.
So most cables work that way. I'll give you an example. My dad went to Best Buy because he needed to go connect two TVs to something. Bought a cable, goes to plug it all into the TVs. Didn't know that you can get cables that go that long, but they have to be directional. And so he's like, "Why does
Yeah.
this not work?" And he couldn't figure it out.
Well, if like directional and powered, like it was a powered cable.
It was just directional.
So I tried a bunch of different setups with this computer setup that I did, right? Because I put my computer in the office and I put the computer like 2 rooms away in the utility room. And I was gonna do the Linus thing where I was like, well, I'm just gonna run like one Thunderbolt like fiber cable. And in retrospect, that's probably what I should have done. But it was gonna be cheaper to do it this way because the Thunderbolt docks and stuff are more expensive. And I probably would have just saved money in my time by doing what he did and what I knew worked. But I fucked around with stuff and I found out that like, okay, the DisplayPort optical cables, they're like $80 a piece, I think, maybe something like that, for like 30 feet.
Sounds about right.
Works just fine. Like those work fine. They are directional, not powered. I got a 30-some foot USB cable. It was like USB 2.0, but I'm just running like keyboard and mouse and my shit Jotunheim off of it, so my DAC amp thing. And it was fine initially, but then I started getting weird like pops and crackles, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So like brought the thing in and like hooked it up, or I took my Jotunheim in there and I plugged it in with an actual like good like cable, short, not really long, and the problem resolved itself. I moved it back in here, same problem. So either I got a bad cable, or the length was too much for like what was having to happen over that with like the audio. So I said, fuck it. I'm not going to try to redo another cable and hope I get like a better one, right? Like there can't be that much variance in like 2 of the same brand of USB 2.0 cable. So I went and bought a long but powered and like an active USB cable, and that has completely solved my problem. I just have to power it at one end, and I believe it's also directional. And so I have no computer in here, and it actually at some points gets way colder than like I wanted the computer gone because it got really hot in this room, especially in the winter when you're running the heat.
Yeah.
And like like a 3080 Ti at like full tilt. I mean that heats this fucking room to the point that I sit here and sweat. And now I just have this little like whose did I buy? I don't an Anchor, a Calbit or something. I don't know. Like a little USB dock that I just plug my active cable into, and then I just plug everything else into it, and it works just fine. This would have been a lot cleaner with one cable run with Thunderbolt, right? But I think one of the other reasons I wanted to go with 2 dedicated cables is I didn't want to be pushing all of my gaming shit over one like connection. I wanted 2 dedicated video lines, especially to my 165 hertz monitor. Like I wanted a dedicated one to that. And now since I've done all that, the NVIDIA remote play stuff is apparently getting really good. And I'm like, well, I don't need a computer at all. I can just do this all from like my docked, like an iMac or something. Like that'd be nice. Or not an iMac, but like a Mac Mini. Like I don't know. I'm
We
kind of
actually
like
have video footage of you trying to set this up.
set this up. Is it Charlie? Is this Charlie? Are you gonna do the Charlie gif? That ain't it.
This was your assistant. He showed up in and was just
No,
like, "Hey,
the
I'm gonna
cable
help you
guy.
get your cables set up."
Yeah.
And then Jack Black was there.
Jack Black was in that. Huh.
Everyone was in this movie. Name
Everyone
somebody.
with Matthew Broderick.
Name somebody.
So
Matthew
Matthew
was in it, though.
McConaughey.
name
Matthew
a woman.
McConaughey.
Any woman.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Name a woman. Name a woman. For $1, name a woman.
Name a woman. I don't know. Any woman. Just name a woman.
Claudia Black.
I like that they're trying to make it cleaner, but I do admit that cabling and displays and stuff has just gotten way more complicated. It's like, well, if you have this type of display, you have to buy this cable, and if you buy this type of display, you have to have this type of cable. It's like, whatever happened
I
to
don't
just
know.
buy a
Think about-
cable?
Think about if your great granddad had handed down a cable company to you. Would you want to switch it up and do what the other guys are doing, or would you want to stick to your good old fashioned whatever cable?
This is how Dad did it. It's worked out pretty good so far.
Cable company would be from your great grandfather.
How would you know?
I-
Do you own a cable company?
I asked which company would it be? What were the
Comcast.
companies? Oh, okay.
It's
been
not
around
real.
forever.
It's a thought exercise, Brian.
It
Think.
would probably be a
It's a word
twine
problem.
Cable company. Like
Wordle. Yeah, what type? Wait, I got confused when we started talking about cable companies.
I think 3M is what you're thinking of.
Got it.
I don't.
well,
I don't want to pivot yet. I'm actually curious, especially from Dave and Blaine, who play a lot of
Video
games on their PCs.
Yeah.
I know Dave was there, but I don't know if you read any of the conversation we had in the Discord. Maybe I don't know, a couple weeks ago, where somebody was like, "Oh, if you haven't tried the new Nvidia like remote play stuff, where you're like playing on a 3080 of theirs, right?" He was like, "It's actually really good now." And I remember trying like the stuff back when we were in college, and I was like, "Oh god, the latency is garbage." And I would love to try the stuff they've currently got and see how like multiplayer like works and like whether it feels like you're playing locally. So if you were guaranteed that it like felt mostly like playing locally, and they're claiming up to 120 hertz. So if you can play at a legit 120 hertz and get the frames you would on a 3080 and be able to play on a 3080, like still getting them is like a challenge, right? Like better now, but still hard. But like say it weren't, like say you could just pay for the subscription service where it was like playing locally. Would you do that? Like, are you at the point in your life? Because like I'm at the point where like if I don't have to worry about maintaining a fucking computer, like as much fun as that is to like build one and then historically, like I hate when it breaks. It's like my world comes crashing down because like I don't have fucking time to deal with it. So
And it just consumes you. Yep.
right. So if I can pay a
Exactly why I buy
subscription
Macs.
and like you do the but okay, but then you
and how
you
much,
do the
how much
math.
probably
How much was it?
iMac cost you?
But how much was the Nvidia service, Dave? Do you remember for the top tier? It was like you would have
it's
to
like-
build a new machine every year. Like or
have to
not
build
every
a
year.
Mac.
Like it would because it was so cheap, like in my opinion, like way
It was
cheaper
like
than building like
$250.
a gaming PC like that super enthusiasts are building, like $3,000 or $4,000.
GeForce Now, right?
Yeah, what's the top tier with a 3080? And like unlimited time and stuff like that. So it would start to go down the fucking shithole if you were trying to play and it's like, oh, service overloaded, right? Like you can't play your
$200.
game. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, $200 a year.
A year. That's fucking
Yep.
reasonable.
You still have to buy games.
Which is fine. I have to buy
Yeah.
games anyway. What if I already own them? Do I got to rebuy them?
No.
Okay, so you connect it to like Steam and stuff.
Yep.
So like it is tempting. So like the problem is like I would love to try it and like maybe by the time I'm at the point where I'm like, well, I want to do a new machine, I would consider just replacing my desktop with a Mac Mini and
Well,
playing from that.
I want to play Elden Ring. Not
Sure.
on GeForce Now.
Got it. So that's an issue, right?
You have to want to play games that are on GeForce now. Yes, there are a lot of games on it,
But it's
but
not comprehensive.
it's not
Is Rocket League there?
comprehensive. I mean, Matt would be fine because Rocket League is there. Because he doesn't play any other game.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
he,
so you know,
he
that's-
kind of
are you
plays
saying it
Halo,
would be
and then he'll
faster?
rage quit.
There is a lot of games on here.
Is there a
but-
line, like, because Blaine, you're busy, you're a dad. I'm busy, I'm a dad. Silas, busy, dad. Like
I'm
have
busy,
you?
I'm-
Dave's. I'm surely busy. He's biking all the time. Like, do you get to, like? Are you at the point where if you can just pay $200 a year and it's a reliable service and it has nearly all of the games that you would want, like, would you just use that as your main gaming machine and not fork over like building a machine that costs like $3,000?
I don't know. I mean,
I mean, that's 10 years of this service. You're not keeping a machine for 10. You're not Sullivan. Like,
It would
Traditionally,
really-
though, the pricing of a PC for my PCs have been much less than that. They've
much
been
lower.
under $1,000. I mean, I am now at the point where I can spend $1,500 on a machine every 3 years, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But it is tempting, especially since
It's
I
it's
could-
tempting to take away the hassle of like I said though, the biggest thing is like the it's gonna work. Like somebody else maintains it. Like I don't have to worry about it. Like as long as my mouse and my keyboard and like the machine I have here works, like it's much less likely that my Mac Mini is gonna explode, right? But rather than something that I own and maintain. But the moment that it hiccups, the rage would be unending. Like, because it would be like, well, if I just had this fucking thing, I'd fix it myself, right? Maybe you might not have the part, but
Yeah,
Wait, I'm
I would be really interested in it. It really does come down to, is the visual quality there and does it feel like I'm playing locally? And then I think third, today's point is, does it have the games I want? I mean, I scrolled through the
if
games
it
here.
doesn't have the games you want, then it's
Right.
no use to you, right? Like if you can't play the games you want to play.
Right. I mean, I'll be honest, the handful of games I'm playing right this minute, they're on here, so I'd probably be like, yeah, probably worth a try. I mean, I'm not playing
The
AAA
problem
games
is
when they come
like
out right
you
away.
get to the
probably.
point where it's like, this is like the alternative to like, am I gaming from Linux or a Mac? Like, I'm not trying to run them locally. Like it's just easier to do GeForce Now. So like, can you live with like Dave, Elden Ring? Is it not there because it's so new? Like, will it be there?
Bandai does not have any of their games on the service yet.
Got
I
it.
don't
So it's a them like a publisher or developer.
Hold
thing.
on. So I'm looking at this native apps, best overall experience on Windows PC, Mac OS, Android, Android TV.
Yeah, you can run it in a browser.
I mean, all it's doing, you don't need like you could fucking play this from a Chromebook probably. Like all you need is to be able to input and receive video signal. Like you did because
H265 decoder in the
okay, so it needs a specific.
which any CPU since 2018 has.
I wonder why. Why does it need that?
It's the decompression of the video stream.
Ah, okay.
And
So they're doing some like
H265.
proprietary super
No,
compression.
I think you have a real answer. I would have said because that's how they built it.
because of the, oh, yeah, I mean, Dave's looked at this probably.
Well, H265 is.
I'm also believing whatever the fuck Dave says wholesale. If he said you need to have a pine cone up your ass when you launch it, like I would just believe it because I don't fucking know. I'm trusting that like Dave has looked at this because he sounds like
Does
he knows
it?
what he's talking about.
It doesn't look like they have any Bethesda games, though, right?
Do I need to go look up pine cones? Let me check. How much is a pine cone on Amazon?
The Microsoft games probably aren't on there either.
Yeah. You know,
So I'm looking at games.
Oh
They
yeah,
have-
fuck yeah, we're ready to go.
Fortnite. Yep.
They don't have Halo.
I'm
they don't-
curious about this. I'm really curious about this because I keep looking at like, should I get a should I upgrade to a PS5 at some point?
Fucking let's
it's not-
go. $14 for a 24 pack of pine cones.
That's all you need. You can get better speeds.
I'm going to say thumbs up for pine cones because that's the first thing I've understood from this entire conversation.
Well, I'm going to give it I would give it a try. We'll see. I would try it. I would like to try
I think
it. But
if I could
game
try
catalog
it
is
for
an
a while,
issue.
like if I could be reasonably assured that the games I want to play are there, and that like it's not the fact that it's some hosted service, almost never prevents me from playing. Like I can understand like an outage or something, but if I try to launch it and it's like, oh nope, there's too many players, I'm gonna be like, you fuck you, I pay for this shit.
What does this mean? Up to 4K HDR Shield TV.
You can play it on a Shield
You
TV.
can play it on a Shield with like a
That's
controller.
like a Roku.
You know what a
We
Shield
have
is? You
we
have
a
one.
Shield.
You can
yeah,
use it
but,
on the Shield.
But I'm saying, what do they mean by up to 4K HDR Shield TV? Like we
It
can
can
play
push up to 4K
games?
on the Shields that do 4K.
Interesting.
It probably upscales it a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
not
I don't know.
native.
Yeah.
But
You know,
anyway,
The only downside I do see is, one of the common times that I would be like, oh, I'm going to go play a whole bunch is like when the internet's down. And you wouldn't be able to play this when the internet wasn't working.
That's fair. Well, all the games I have are online anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to. Well, no, I guess I've
Sure.
downloaded Rocket League, so I can play against the computer there.
Well, something that does not require your computer is the world's first hydraulically powered drone.
Hydraulically powered. So is that like water? Or
No, just hydraulic fluid, actually. So if you guys have all seen quadcopters out there, you'll probably notice most of them use electric motors to drive their propellers. Well,
logic?
this guy has apparently thought of an idea where instead of using electric motors, he's going to use hydraulic motors and use a gas engine instead of batteries to power it.
So it's not an electric drone. It's
this
a
feels like we're
gas-powered
going
drone.
backwards.
Actually, that's the only direction. Actually,
Does
that's
this
the only
guy
direction.
just know he's making a helicopter?
It is interesting. It does feel a little backwards compared to where we've been going, but some of the reasoning here is actually pretty legit. One of the reasons that you've never seen this before is because it's difficult to control anything non-electric motored quick enough to be viable in a quadcopter.
Which is why hydraulic presumably would work pretty well because it doesn't compress.
Correct. Exactly. So they can respond quickly enough with the hydraulic motors, and they have some special miniature hydraulic motors that'll do it. But the biggest benefit is they can run it off of a gas engine, and they can get what do they say? It can fly for up to 6 hours. And
That is a long duration.
yeah, and it can fly over 900 kilometers, and it can lift 330 pounds.
So this
So
would be interesting for, I bet you, the military wants this big time.
Oh, I would bet
Yeah.
Amazon would want it too because the reason they can't use those drones is that they can't lift much, they can't go far, they have to be close.
Oh yeah.
What if?
That's a good point, Brian.
So I don't know anything about any of this shit. So like you're
Drones
talking
are
about electric
awesome.
motors, but the motors are at the rotors themselves. Like there's a motor
Yep.
per, or
Yep, it's
there's like a
like a
central motor with a pulley that
So-
spins them all.
So in
Let me
this
explain it to
case,
you
What's
this way.
stopping you from driving a hydraulic apparatus at the propeller with?
that's exactly what this
electricity?
guy is doing.
Oh, okay.
Basically, well, it's not with
No,
electricity,
not with
but
gas, with electricity. Is
I
there a
mean, you
reason? Like, do you not do that?
could.
Like because the you're getting the loiter time out of it because it's a gas engine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would use an electric motor to drive
okay.
a hydraulic pump. That would
I
be
don't fucking know. I didn't know anybody was making this. I don't know this shit. The only thing I knew is that it made sense that it that because water and hydraulic stuff is non-compressible. Like that's I mean that's why you see it in everything. That needs
Yeah.
to
yeah, water's not combustible. You're right.
yeah, it can't burn.
Thankfully.
I mean,
It's not toxic either. So
It's not
there
toxic.
you go.
Well, it can
yeah.
be.
Yeah, you could eat this helicopter. Two
Yum.
thumbs up for an edible helicopter.
If a guy can eat a Cessna, you can eat this.
The
Why
Man Who
not?
Ate the 737. That's a book. That's a real book.
So I'm going to give it a thumbs up for this guy for trying something new. I think this is an interesting idea, especially for delivery services
Oh,
and cargo
hold on.
hauling. So
hold on. Let's take a look at this because I don't think that everyone fully understands what's being said here. I want you all to look at this very closely. Let's open this up a little bit wider here so you can take a look at what's happening.
What?
He has figured out a way to make it look like the propellers are moving around, and then he has it tied to a rope here and is just pulling it up.
This
Yeah.
is just like the fucking moon landing.
Thumbs down. It was faked from the beginning. He has all these other cables at the bottom just to kind of make
His
you go,
nephew's off to the side there, just
pulling on. There you go, Jimmy. Give it a good tug.
Yeah, I like how the video looks like it's kind of shot in like some old back car lot alley or
it
something
looks
like
even
that.
worse with Silas showing it on Riverside because it's very choppy.
Yeah, I think it's cool. You know, I'm not 100% sure if it'll take off, but I guess because the only thing that I would say is why not just use if you're looking for flight time, just use a gas engine to power a generator that powers your electric motors. So
Size?
And that just sounds like
maybe?
extra steps.
it's basically the same thing he's doing here, though. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're the electric motor guy.
I say I'll pitch it to Musk. He can figure it out.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I still give it a thumbs up. I guess I'm on a thumbs up mood tonight, so we'll go with that. But you know what? If you aren't tired of thumbs upping, and if Silas is looking for a new camera, you might want to buy a new Nikon
Nope.
because they you haven't even heard the best feature yet.
Oh, I'm looking right at the article right now.
I'm ready.
So they have a new mirrorless camera that they're going to come out with, and as you may know, mirrorless cameras don't necessarily have to have a shutter. They are now saying that they may make the shutter button, instead of make a click, it might meow at you.
Is it programmable?
Yeah, can
That's
you change
terrible.
the sound?
No, it's not programmable. It only meows. They're
Like I want to be able to change the sound, so every time I push it, it goes sploosh. Sploosh, just
Fart
like
noise.
Pam from Archer.
I mean, if I could update it to say to do anything, then I might be interested in that for half a second, and I'll be like, I'll probably just shut the sound off after the 5 times that I mess around with it and go, that's funny, and just turn it off. So
I mean, I do like the idea of a programmable
what is the marketing
sound.
angle on this? Because they're
Oh man, make it the rap horn where it's like bow, 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 bow. So if you're doing like a really like a burst,
that would be
Yeah.
great. You're at a wedding. You may now kiss the bride.
you
Got
forget
it.
you forget
You're
to
all
turn it off.
Oh, that would be
Do, like,
great.
360 no
That
scope.
would be. Oh god. Ha! Got him.
I don't know. I think Nikon is really really onto something here.
Yeah.
Bottom of the barrel there.
They're
Yeah,
like,
when
you know
when
what?
you're looking like for market differentiators in your product, I don't think this is it. Look elsewhere.
Sony was like, you know what? Like 8 years ago, they're like, you know what? We're gonna really invest in mirrorless technology so we can be at the forefront of this.
Well, they
And
missed
right now,
this
Nikon's
part.
like, we're gonna be at the forefront of cat.
Shutter sounds.
Yeah, there's always somebody who
Technology.
comes along and just memes it up.
Sounds.
It's like you're probably going to be able to buy a Hello Kitty version.
Oh, that will sell out instantly.
Oh yeah.
Instantly.
That probably would make him a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand it, but I don't understand the marketing perspective, but you know what? I'm gonna give it I'm still gonna give it a thumbs
I don't
up.
understand who this is for.
Thumbs down.
I'm gonna give it a
Thumbs down.
thumbs up.
Who's buying it?
People
is
like
for-
cats, man.
It's for think about all the people who are making cat videos on YouTube. They're like,
No.
oh, wouldn't it be great
People
if I
who
could
like
have-"
to take pictures of their cats. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Meow, 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 meow.
They talk,
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, you're talking back to me," and they're like,
I hate
"Just get
this.
that on my face."
I hate you and I hate this.
That's why we have to vote this down now. Vote it out. Now.
Well, if you hate it enough, you might want to turn off your entire town's internet to shut
Whatever
off
it
the
takes.
internet. Just do whatever it takes, kill it all. Which is apparently what a man did in I don't even know where this was. Somewhere in France, it looks like. He apparently was.
Did he call before he dug a bunch of times to figure out where to hit?
It's even better than that. He was so pissed that his kids wouldn't stop watching internet videos that he bought what I can only imagine is the world's largest signal jammer and turned it on and killed the entire city's internet.
Wait, so is this like wireless internet, or like we're talking about like 4G or 5G?
I'm guessing all of the above. Probably just wireless and
So we're
other
going
signals.
with this was probably against
it was
rules and regulations
definitely
of the governing body that governs the frequencies in his country.
I thought we agreed
yes,
not to say 5G so that we wouldn't get demonetized again.
Sounds like
Oh,
Brian's
yeah.
getting jammed.
It's
What?
definitely illegal. He's potentially going to get 6 months in jail and fined 30,000 euros.
Wait, he's going to jail?
He might.
Well,
Dealing
guess
with-
what? He won't have to deal with his kids' internet issues then.
Problem solved.
It's solved. It
6 months.
He's
created
gonna
the
be
desired
somebody
result.
in jail named the Jammer, and it's gonna be bad.
Jeez.
We've been jammed.
Jam.
Raspberry.
Yeah,
Oh, star.
What was that place that we lived by that they had stolen some transformers and put them in their house, and they were going to build a time machine with it? And all that was left, I mean, the house was still there, but there were scorch marks all the way up the side of the house because they caught the house on fire from using the... Do you remember that?
No,
Plan 9 from outer space?
It made national news.
I
Wait,
don't remember this.
wait. Start over. What was the beginning of the story?
I was just saying, it's like the guys that stole the transformers and put them in their house so they could build a time machine.
Oh, you don't mean Optimus Prime Transformers. You mean electricity Transformers.
electrical transform.
Electrical transformers. Yes. Good
Wowza.
clarification there.
I thought that they went to the moon to go get him from the dark side.
Autobots.
Decepticon. Polluticon.
I give it a thumbs up. I'm just gonna keep rolling with it on this guy. You want to kill the internet, go big or go home. So
Oh
Sounds
yeah,
like
thumbs
you're
up.
pretty big.
Thumbs.
How long's he going to jail for?
potentially 6 months.
Oh my god!
They have a pretty good internet package in jail. So
I
Can
think
you imagine
I think
being
that you
so pissed that you get sent to jail?
he
Like,
could-
I
he
think
insanity
I think a lot
the
of people
internet
do
videos.
that. I think
That's
that happens
true.
to a lot of people.
So pissed you just he could have been so pissed that he stabbed one of his kids.
this is a much better way to go.
Why did he buy a big? Why couldn't he just buy a small signal jammer? And
He
just,
Go
like,
big
probably
or
was
home.
confused. He probably was confused
He's
and didn't
like,
know
well,
what he was
I want to
buying.
make sure it works. This one
Yeah.
seems to have the most output.
You know the saying, go big
bigger
or
the
go
better.
home.
I really think this comes down to he's not going to go to jail. He's gonna show. Oh, bye, Blaine. He's gonna show up
Oh, he
and
almost
be
made
like,
it.
"Hey, yeah, not what I meant to do, but you know."
Hey, what's
Don't
up?
put me in jail because I'm an idiot.
There you go.
But yeah, thumbs up. Nice job.
All right. Well, we'll move on to our Elon Musk pitches for the week then. How about that?
No,
I like it. Let's do it.
I'll start off. I'm going to pitch him my electric drone that's powered by a gas engine. I think
That'll go forever.
Okay, when it's described like that, I am on board.
As
I
opposed
want it
to-
to be. I want you to. I like this idea as long as you also have refueling drones, and so they're even bigger drones with bigger gas tanks that fly next to the smaller drones to refuel the gas so that they could just be in flight forever.
I think we can make that work.
Yep, that works. That's the way they do it, actually.
All right. Who else has a good pitch?
I have one. I want to know what brain activity I have all the time, and especially when I die. So I would like for Elon to make a watch that can monitor my brain activity, so I can see if there's really anything going on now, and people can actually look at it as I'm dying, they can pull up my wrist and go, "Oh, wow." That
Wow,
type of
he's
thing.
thinking about that time he had a really good sandwich. Wait,
think
so
you
you're
should-
saying you can
you know,
watch the
I'm just
video
saying-
footage of what you're thinking?
That's.
Bye bye, Blaine.
I'm gonna wait for him to come back.
Did he just
Almost.
show up and then immediately leave.
Yeah.
He saw I was still that thought, so he decided to disconnect again.
A watch that can constantly measure my brain activity. I like it.
Well, you know, they do cardio stuff now and EKG and all that. You might as well get brain activity.
Might as well.
I think Blaine needs he needs that fucking GeForce Now stuff.
Oh yeah. I wonder if he would do this over.
You guys have some spare parts. You should send them over to him so he can make a computer that
I don't
works.
have any spare parts.
Come on,
The only
Dave. You've
spare
got
parts I
a
have
box
are
of spare parts.
I do have spare parts.
You have enough spare parts, Dave. You could build a computer that could rule the world. Come on,
I'm just
you
gonna
know
get
it.
a Chromebook and I'm
All
gonna
of my
send it to
spare
him.
parts are really fucking old.
I'm sure they
Yeah, but they
handle
work.
all the technology well.
They work. They're pre-colonial, pre-industrial. They work. They know what they're doing.
Pre-colonial GPU.
I have a Pentium.
Which colony?
What is that?
The colony that had computer stuff. Matt, come on.
Sometimes.
Rhode
I
Island.
Tell you
Brian.
Thanksgiving history here.
Blaine can have this.
Sweet.
Pentium 2.
You have a Slocket Pentium 2.
No,
What?
this is a slot. A
Put that
slot
back in the museum where it belongs.
actually you socket a traditional CPU into an adapter that goes into a socket into a slot. That's a slot.
So it's just a slot.
Yes, this is just a slot with enough cooling to probably cool the 3080 at this point.
Oh.
So
Blake just keeps
Dave's
trying.
pitch.
I love
Dave's
that
pitch
Blake
is
keeps
to
trying.
have a slocket in his pocket. Okay.
There you go.
Let's see here.
Matt, do you have a pitch?
10 gig hard drive.
You have a 10 gig hard drive?
IDE.
What the hell was that?
In case I need it.
It's the emergency
Why would you
broadcast
need a
system.
floppy drive? Are you updating a Boeing?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a pitch pipe. It's a pipe.
And I've got
What? What do you have, a boatswain's pipe
test.
over there?
2, 4,
Oh my-
8 gig of DDR3.
Let's see. Okay, so I have a pitch
Yeah, you
for
don't
Elon.
want Dave's parts.
No. This is 8 gig of DDR3. This is 4 gig of DDR3.
I would like Elon to create a drone that is powered by helium.
One Chrome tab would fill up that
Balloons.
entire set of memory.
I'm well aware.
A helium balloon powered drone.
I love it. Those people that fly balloons, what are they called? Balloonists, or
Yeah.
they must be a pretty no, that's not what they're called. Ballooners.
You're talking about?
You know, the big balloons, the big pretty ones that people
hot air
see.
balloons.
Hot air balloons.
The big
They're
pretty
they're
ones.
The big pretty balloons.
they're
Tourists.
hot airists.
Balloon arenas.
They must know, and there aren't that many hot air balloons. They must all know each other. It must be like a tight community.
They must
know?
all know each other.
They must.
I think it's probably a bigger community than like washing machine enthusiasts.
I don't think so. I'm going to look it up right now on the internet.
Blaine froze and gone is gone again. All right, Matt, do you have a pitch for Elon?
No,
Well, that's helpful.
No.
never said I was going to be helpful.
Yep.
Perfect. Well,
In fact, I
Mission
think it's just
accomplished.
assumed that I'm here to disrupt.
I'm going to give him just a second here.
He's out.
Hot
Kill 'em.
air balloonists.
And with that, I'm going to call this council meeting adjourned. Thanks for listening. We record this podcast live Tuesday nights on YouTube, and if like what you saw and have want to check out past episodes of the CouncilCast, good luck. You can also find the audio files on iTunes, or maybe not. We have
Boy died
topic
again.
legends to discuss. Email us at idon'tcare@councilcast.org or connect
We
with
didn't
us
check
on
the
Twitter.
comments.
Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
We'll address the comments
So-
never.
There are no comments. Oh, earlier in the episode, Eric said sensor size. That's what she said. So, all right. Goodbye.